Hi, and welcome to the Crit Hit Wild podcast, where we talk about all things Marvel Crisis Protocol and review a different character every week. I'm your host, Jared,
I'm Brad.
I'm Fred.
And I'm Brandon.
and I don't have I keep telling myself I'm gonna think of something like smooth to transition from like us saying our names into something, but I never have anything. So
This is your best one yet.
this is the best I have is to say that I don't have anything. So
And that's part of our charm.
yeah,
We're just a mess.
we literally don't yeah. What is is one of our old buddies who said that he was listening to the podcast and stuff. Which, if you are on YouTube watching this, or I guess have read the title, you'll notice that it's not Human Torch again. It's Cyclops. So this is the Cyclops episode, courtesy of Tim Scarberry requesting that we do Cyclops. So keeping the meme going of never looking at Human Torch. Yeah. But anyways, he said that this podcast reminded him of like old school Chain Attack. I don't know. Did you guys ever listen to Chain Attack?
Yes, I did. Hi, Tim.
Uh, I think I understood what he was saying. Like, so they were really good players and probably had better insight into the game they were talking about than we have insight into the game that we're talking about. But
I don't know. I think that they have better insight than me. But I think that us as a group, we tend to be pretty good. I don't know.
Jay Larson won like War Machine Weekend,
Yeah,
so I guess
I mean they're
he
good.
we
Yeah,
we
you
don't we
did
don't
very well in LVO.
we don't have the no, I did not do very well. We
You
don't
did
have
very well.
we don't
Did better
have
than I would.
we don't have the titles under our belt, but maybe one day. But I think it's because they just kind of bullshitted and then just also talked. So maybe that's. I think Tim was complimenting us with our bullshittery. So thank you, Tim. But yeah, how are you guys doing this week? You guys doing okay? I haven't talked to Fred. I haven't really talked to you. I haven't really talked to you or Brandon like all week pretty much. So how have you guys been doing? How are you
I'm
guys
doing.
doing? Jesus.
I'm doing fine. I've had a busy week of with lots of work, but it's been. I had a nice week. I saw a good movie.
What'd you see?
Well, I'll cover that later.
Okay, fair enough. How are you, Brandon?
Oh, doing good. We've got like 3 people on vacation this week, so I'm doing like 3 people's jobs this week.
I
So I've
understand.
just been swamped.
Yeah. I would ask you how you're doing, Brad, but
Tired.
I know that you're doing okay. You're just tired. Hey, Brandon, you want to know something that I found out that upset me and it'll probably upset you?
Boy,
Do you know that Brad hates Halo?
yeah, I
I
knew that.
do. I hate Halo.
Me and Andrew talked about playing like co-op, and all Brad would just sit in the corner. He just kept sitting in the corner telling us how much he hated Halo, while me and Andrew proceeded to talk about how much we loved it and wanted to play the new campaign together. But they keep fucking us and not making co-op.
Yeah, I mean, they're. I feel like with Infinity, that's low priority. They want to make a game as service and have the seasons of multiplayer be more frequent. So that's where they're going to put their effort.
Well, maybe they should actually put effort into it and make that good, and then we can
I
get co-op
think
too.
I think I heard it co-op was delayed till fall 2023 or something.
Some crazy time when
Yeah.
it's not going to be in
Where
anyone's
they
mind
can
anymore.
quietly cancel it before
Right,
it happens.
right, yeah.
Which
It's
is so
distinctly
fucking
possible.
stupid.
I mean, I agree. Have you tried to beat the game on Legendary? There's one fight. Do you remember the 2 Spartan killer
In the new
brutes?
one, I have not played the new campaign because I'm literally waiting to
Oh,
play in
geez, you're
co-op.
waiting? Oh, okay.
Yes.
Well,
I
what I'll
made that
say,
I made that decision, and it has literally haunted me ever since.
I
golly,
mean,
golly gee,
it
Fred
is
was getting ready to
pretty
hit you with some spoilers.
No, no, no. One, you can't spoil this game. It's just nonsense now. There's no storyline. It's just like walk down hallways, shoot bad guy. But it is fun. I'm not denying that. And there's a boss fight with 2 Spartan killer brutes, where on Legendary, that fight is I died more than 100 times,
Oh
like
my
easily.
God.
by myself.
Why would you put yourself through that for Halo?
Because it's fun. It is fun.
Doesn't
I
sound
mean,
fun.
That sounds
it
like
is
the old
well.
days of playing the old Ninja Gaiden games. Like, holy shit, I just remember.
No, you're talking to someone who's played Elden Ring and Dark Souls. Like, I'm used to that sort of. Do you know what? That was the most fun. Can I be honest? That was the best part of that Halo because I'm used to playing games where you just die all the time and you have to come absolutely perfectly correct. I kind of like that.
You talking about Elden Ring? That just reminded me. Like I picked it back up, and I'm just kind of starting over because it's been so long since I played it because I never beat it, right?
Okay.
So I'm back on that first island again, and I was in one of the caves that had like poison everywhere. It's like
Yeah.
super early on like the Weeping Peninsula or whatever. I ran through and I
know
got
the game.
poisoned,
I know the game.
and I was like, "Fuck, I'm gonna die." So I had to run back, and I was trying to make it to the Grace, and I go
Uh-huh.
and I get on top of the fucking Grace, and I messed up what I hit, and I fucking did some kind of gesture, and the animation took long enough to where I couldn't get on the Grace, and then the poison killed me, and I died. I was like, God, here we go. Welcome back. So great.
Welcome to Elden Ring.
Yeah.
God, I
Well,
love that game.
yeah, it's
I
a
don't
good game.
remember if which one it was, but there was one of the Mortal Kombats. If you like on the hardest difficulty, like when you fought Shao Kahn at the end, it was literally you had to like sequence literally perfectly because if he hit you one time, you died. So like, I mean, not literally he would one hit KO you, but like he would hit you and then you would never recover.
Was it an
You
older
could
one?
Always be on the back foot.
Well, it's not even that. Like you couldn't get away. Like he would every time he'd hit you, it would just pin you into like a lock. So like he would hit you
Yeah.
and your character would like like fucking flail like a Magikarp, and then he would hit you like 3 more times and you were dead.
How old is it? Like, is it one of the old ones, like the SNES ones? That
No,
reminds
it
me.
wasn't one of the. There, I mean, those are also extremely. Some of those, I think, 2 was like the one, like the final
Did-
boss in 2 when you had to, because you had to beat Goro and then
You had to beat Goro, and then you had to beat Shao Kahn, and that was some
Yeah.
shit.
I think that something needs to be said. SNES ones? There weren't any on the SNES. They were on the Sega Genesis,
Stop
good
it.
sir.
Stop it.
No,
They were on the Sega Genesis.
I have MK2
We're
and a
not-
cartridge for SNES right there, dog. Right there it is.
I bet you that there's no blood in it.
There is blood. 100% there's blood. I'll show you.
Okay.
I don't know in what world you think the real
fatalities?
versions on the. Yes, there are fatalities.
Yeah. It's Mortal Kombat. Yeah, there's
I have
spines and
Mortal
everything
Kombat.
else on
I have the
SNES.
original Mortal Kombat
Okay,
on my
I might be
SNES
wrong. I must
with
be
the
wrong.
manual and the box.
Best thing about MK2 is I actually played it last.
You can turn it all off on the SNES.
Yeah, you can. That's an option. I actually played MK2 on the SNES against Aaron because he came over last Friday. I played him, and I forgot. I always forget about we were playing in the woods, and I got him with an uppercut, and that one guy popped up. He's like, "Whoopsie!" Like the guy in the corner. That's the best. That's the best boy. I started dying laughing. I was like, "That's my guy." I forgot about him. Oh shit, we're so off topic.
Yeah, we are.
Upcoming tournaments, news and announcements. Second Wind is upcoming, and I do have some sad news. Myself, Brad, and one of our locals, Mike, we're planning to attend. Unfortunately, due to personal reasons, we will not be attending. Nothing negative going on amongst our group. We all love each other, so there's nothing going on there, and it's nothing against Second Wind. We just had some things come up, so we're not going to be traveling to Second Wind, unfortunately, but that does mean that the wait list is open if you guys want to get in it. So, Second Wind, October 15th and 16th. I'll be super excited to see what people bring to that event because it's going to be a lot of cutthroat people there, and to kind of see how the meta shakes out and what people are doing good with. But
I want everyone to have a deep dish pizza in my name.
yeah, absolutely. Oh yeah, absolutely. I bet that there's some pretty good. Well, you've been to Second Wind. There's probably some pretty good joints around there, in there, Brad.
Yeah. There's a really good barbecue place that I can't remember the name of that has no doors. It was very delicious.
The barbecue with no doors.
Yeah, I was just about to make that joke. God damn it.
I beat you to it.
No, Jason White beat you both to it. So.
Oh, okay, that's fair.
He's Sunbun's not here, dog. and it's Jason White. So
That's true.
me and Fred get first.
If Jason's out there listening, you're invited to come on the cast anytime. I don't think he listens.
I don't think he listens either. That's
He has a social life.
pour one out for my guy.
Or
He reminds me of a one Fred from years past.
Yes.
I mean, that's fair.
Let's move on.
October
Okay.
22nd at Bookery Games. Check-in is at 11:30 and Dice Off is at 12. It is a $10 entry fee, and there is a prize, I believe. I have to pull it up, but I think some of the money goes back into a prize pool.
Yes.
Yes.
I think that's correct.
If once again, just to shout it out, if there's a local tournament and you want to let people know about it, just email us at crithitwild@gmail.com, or you can reach out to me. My name is Sev on the Discord. So, yeah, if there's somebody or a tournament or something like that that you want me to give a little plug to, just give me the proper information and I will do that for you. It worked out getting us some extra people. So if it can work out for us, it can work out for you. So if you're wanting to grow your scene, let me help you with the dream. I was going to do one more rhyme in there, but I couldn't think of anything else. That's all I got for tournaments. As far as other news and announcements, we're going to there's a lot of these, so we're going to kind of tear through them pretty quick. So I'll just kind of read them off. You guys give me your first impression if you like them or if you're kind of cold on them. But let's see. I pulled up all the ones that were for Hydra. That was probably a mistake. So we know about occult research. We know about scientific method. I don't think that we covered inevitable betrayal, so let's go ahead and take a look at that really quick.
That one is not a new spoiler.
It is not,
but yeah, I don't think we talked about it.
We did not talk about that or the High Council. So, inevitable betrayal is a Hydra reactive card that during the cleanup phase, before victory points are scored, an allied Hydra, specifically Hydra character, may spend 8 power to play this card. You choose an enemy character within 2 that is contesting a secure. That character will count as one of yours for contesting secures this round. So during cleanup, before you score, you pay 8 power. You can get an extra body on a point. So what do you guys think about that?
It's expensive.
Yeah.
I mean, it's good, and I can see how it could be the difference between winning and losing, but it's expensive, and it's only one character can spend 8 power to make it happen.
Yeah, I think I'm not sure yet exactly. Like Red Skull's leadership gives you power, right? A lot of these guys have like a flat 1 power builder.
Yeah, and they're all power.
Yeah, and they all have pretty fun things to do. I guess like Red Skull is probably like the best at like not needing his power. Well, he can generate power, but he's also like you do gauntlets, but I don't know that there's too much else that you do. Yeah, I don't know. I think I just have to wait and like this is a really good card. Like I think it's actually probably one of the better ones. It's not like the best one, but it's one of the better ones in the whole set. It just depends on how like well they generate power. Pretty much is kind of what I'm sitting at. What do you think, Brandon? Oh God.
I think it's pretty solid. No, yep. I was walking into the other room to put my food away because Fred hates my eat.
I will, because I jump down his throat when he eats on cast.
I love that you're like eating all the time, and then you're like. Also,
I literally got off work at 7 o'clock. So
you're either always eating or handling your food at some capacity in your home while we're doing the cast. Love it. You're like
we record this at 8 o'clock. Like I usually don't get off till like 6 or later. So like
you're like Brad Pitt
like
in Ocean's 11.
Perfectly acceptable. I mean, I'll never turn down a comparison to Brad Pitt.
But yeah, what were you saying? Do you like it?
I think it's fine. It's one of those cards where like you probably never take it, but like if you plan around it in certain matchups, I think it can be really good. However, again, I feel like it's probably entirely too situational to ever get taken because there are good restricted cards, and as we're going to talk about, they also got some good other cards.
Yeah. I like it into CS. All right, let's look at.
I think that's one of the matchups that it's actually really good against.
I have a rules question. So it says it counts as yours. Does that mean that also doesn't count as your opponent? I know that that's a silly
Yeah.
question.
Yeah.
Okay. I wanted to make sure that that was the case.
All right,
I
let's
feel like that was
move.
a fair question.
Yeah, I think that was actually really good. So High Council is the other one that has already been out, but we did not cover
Oh,
yet.
I don't get to have an opinion.
Oh shit! I thought you said something. Go ahead.
Nope, you did.
I'm sorry. I'm trucking along. I'm Speedy Boy this cast.
We're
I
not.
think it's absolutely playable, but like Brandon said, they got some other good cards, so you might not play it. I'd put it in my 10.
I think it can make the 10. Like I think that
Yeah.
it probably does.
I think it makes the 10. I don't think it ever makes your 5.
Ever.
That's a good-
I mean, I think the majority of the time you're not gonna. I think there are gonna be times you're gonna take it, but I don't know if you're ever gonna be happy that you took it. I guess is because, like I said, it's like a perfect. It works out really well, but it's a very perfect situation card. Like I think it's one of those times where it's like this point sways the entire game. Is the only time you can justify dropping 8 power.
Well, I don't know. Like, if you're up against CS on Research Station and Gamma, and
See,
you
I was
do this
thinking
right in the
Gamma.
middle, yeah,
People
it could
always
be a
leave
huge
like
difference.
one guy on their own,
Right.
Gamma,
That's 3
and
points.
then you turn their 1 point into your 3 points.
That's what I'm
Yeah.
saying.
Yeah.
It's something that'll
Yeah.
turn the game, but you
Yeah.
have to have that 8 power, and I'm not sure how often that's going to be the case either.
I think that
You
like
have to think about it.
I think it's probably like a round 4 or 5 kind of card. Like I'm actually noticing like a theme with like a lot of these cards is that I think Brad actually that's probably like the best example of it is like Research Gamma. Like those two are like I think it probably makes your 10, and I think that you actually probably consistently play it on Research Gamma because
Yeah.
that can net you so many points.
Does this happen before when characters flip, or before or after characters flip?
It's
Probably
It
after.
happens.
it happens before because characters flip at the very end, and you
Of the
do
cleanup phase.
of the cleanup.
Oh, I see what
So
you're
you would
saying.
do this, then you would score.
Because it just says during the cleanup phase, so
Well, but yeah, but it says before
But
points are scored, and points are
yeah,
that happens first.
yes.
So, all right.
it's not as fun then.
So a niche that's a niche card that I think will probably see play on particular crises. So let's look at High Council. It's Hydra. It's active if all of the following conditions are met simultaneously. An allied Hydra character may play this card. So if this happens at all at any point during the round, not like cleanup or power. Well, oh, it's active. So it just has to be on your turn. But if anything's are happening throughout the round on your turn, you can do it. So Johann Schmidt is not dazed and has 6 or more power. That's probably feasible. Arnim Zola is contesting a secure objective. That's easy. Wolfgang von Strucker is not dazed and is within 2 of 2 or more enemy characters with the poison special condition. That's hard to do.
He gives out poison.
I know
He does it.
I
I think that's
know.
easy.
Well, I know that, but I'm saying like that, like
Not being dazed.
yeah, because I feel like as soon as like 2 of these steps are met, because you need to have all 4, your opponent's gonna be like, okay, and then they're either gonna like position accordingly or they're gonna try to take. I don't know. I guess you could say that for any of these, so not just that one. I think that one's a little tricky, but maybe not. Um, yeah, within 2 or more enemy characters with the poison special condition, and then Zemo has dazed or KO'd an enemy character this round. Place an unused character of threat value 4 or less from your roster within 2 of this character is not part of your squad. So, just to recap, Red Skull is not dazed, has 6 power. Zola's on a secure. Strucker's not dazed and is within 2 of 2 people that have poison. And Zemo has dazed or KO'd someone. You get to add in a 4 threat character. That's a very strong effect. And it can happen like as early as round 2.
Yeah.
So
I think this is nifty. I mean, if you can pull this off, it's a game swing. It'll swing a game because it'll give you so much more table presence.
yep. Well, go on. What about the rest of you?
I'll go. Here's my dream. We take this card. You play it. You bring Sinister in, and then Sinister clone banks and brings another model in.
Yeah, but
That'll
you'd have
never
to.
happen. If you pull that off, send us an email, please. 'Cause
Yeah,
that
I
would be
want to know.
amazing.
You could,
I want to know
Uh,
about that. I want to know about anyone who successfully remakes Hulkbuster. I want to know about this stuff.
Okay. This card reminds me of I don't remember what it's called. Hard to Please. That's what it's called. The Magneto, Quicksilver, Scarlet Witch card.
yeah, but just with
And
double the
it
amount
just
of
with
criteria.
yes. And it still doesn't seem any harder. Like that's stuff that those characters are doing anyway.
uh yeah, I
Zemo
mean,
kills people. Strucker poisons people. Zola stands on a secure and blasts people. And Red Skull makes power. Like,
I like that it says that, like, they're not dazed. I think that gives you a little bit extra,
it
like,
gives the opponent a way to play into it.
yeah, you can play around it a little bit. So I don't know. I like it. It's really strong effects. So to take all these characters requires 14 threat. So you are at least bringing all of these. How well all these do together? They probably actually do pretty fine together. Like all four of these
Yeah.
characters. So what do you think, Brandon? Did you chime in?
This card's sneaky bad. I think this card's awful.
Oh, hot
I
take.
think you're gonna take this card and you're gonna try so hard to get this, you're gonna stop playing the actual game, and you're gonna lose trying to make sure these things happen.
I mean, that's
That
fair.
is
I
fair.
I,
That
I
is
just don't
fair.
think it's good.
I disagree.
That's fine. I like these are cards that I see in lots of games, and they are traps, and it's one of those things you're gonna keep trying to make it happen. Like you said, you can have it on turn 2, but like the odds of Red Skull having 6 power and not being dazed is probably pretty low at that point. And then so now you're moving along, and it's like, so if you get a couple of them, and people are gonna play around it because they know you have it. Like if they
Yeah,
see
but
you trying to do
that
this
could
now.
warp their play enough to give you an advantage.
But that's the
And
thing,
you're
not
just
really, because if Strucker's in the middle trying to do stuff, if he's within 2 characters, within 2, now you have 2 characters that get to attack him.
Well,
but
I think
that's the
Strucker's
last
the
piece
last.
you put
Yeah,
in place.
yeah. Strucker's the last thing you do.
Okay, but then
Everyone
you
else
still have to daze someone with Zemo, and
that
That'll
happens
happen.
all the time.
That'll happen. Yeah, Zemo's a murderer.
yeah,
Zemo goes out there
think
and straight up kills people.
I think you guys are just in happy, fun lollipop land on this one. This card's bad. Don't play it.
All right.
That's my opinion. I'm sticking to it.
Let's move on to let's see. So we'll start with Endless Legions. So these are the cards that just got released here recently, or got spoiled here recently. So we have Endless Legions. It's Hydra reactive during the power phase. Red Skull, Master of Hydra, may play this card. Each time an allied Hydra troopers would be KO'd this round, remove all damage from them. They are not KO'd. Then an opposing player pushes them short instead. I don't like this at all. Like,
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't see the point of this card. Like it doesn't do anything for you. If
Yeah.
they could hold an extract, it's great.
yeah.
But they can't. So
The
I don't
fact
see
that
the point.
because they push them and they're a secure grunt, like after they
Yeah.
daze them once, they just push them off and you don't give, like, you just don't mess with them anymore. So you don't give a shit.
Right.
Yeah.
The only thing is, well, no, because they're not KO'd. I was gonna say, I thought maybe you could do something cute with like Punisher, where like if they kept getting hit, he would keep getting tokens, but they don't get KO'd. So
This does allow you to play Hydra and Red Skull into
Black
like
Order.
Black
Black
Order, yeah, I guess, yeah.
For one turn.
Once.
Yeah, but I mean that's usually good enough for at
One
least.
turn's all you need.
Yeah,
I don't
and
know
it doesn't
about
cost anything to play, so that's
that. Yeah, that's true. I that is the situation, and
Yeah.
otherwise, I'm not blown away by this.
All right, let's take a look at Two More Shall Rise. This is one that had everybody's pickle tickled earlier in our chats. So two more shall rise. Hydra reactive. When an allied Hydra character with an active leadership ability is KO'd, another allied character may play this card. Choose two allied characters with the Hydra or Cabal leadership abilities. Both chosen characters' leadership abilities become active. So, pretty neat. So really, you're looking at Strucker, and then you would have to take Malekith or Sin, unless I'm missing something.
But you could start with Strucker and go into other Red
Oh,
Skull.
other Red Skull plus.
Other Red Skulls. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, so that's the question: is who are the two that it goes? I don't. I think this is cool as hell. It's very neat, and it's made for Strucker, I think, because Strucker's pretty fragile. But how is it that what two is it? It's gonna probably be Red Skull 2, Electric Boogaloo, and who's the other one? Is it gonna be Sin? Like who's taking Sin for
I'm,
this?
I mean, you
I don't
know,
know. Is
you're
hers worth that
hers
much trouble?
hers is not good, but
No, it's not.
I don't know. I think that this card probably. I don't know that you take this card, honestly.
It's neat. It's nifty, like I said earlier, but it's and maybe you just get it so that when Strucker dies, you still have the affiliation bonus of Red Skull, but or the other way around. But I mean, I don't know if that's worth it. I don't know
Yeah.
if that's worth it.
I think if you are playing two other leaders, like if you have your roster and there's other leaders in there that you think you'll be playing, maybe you put it in your 10 and play it sometimes. But if you're not like me, I wouldn't be playing Sin. I'm not going to play Malekith. Like, it's
mean,
not worth it.
I think you just play Strucker, Zemo, Malekith, and new Red Skull at 18.
Now, just to clarify, like this, I'm not high on this now, but like 6 months from now or like a year from now, if like another Cabal or like this card is like always going to be there though, right? Because like every time they ever release a Cabal or a Hydra leader, this will get brought up again. So while this may not be like a card you're really looking at right now, like this could get insanely good down the road. So
Yes. I that was broken up quite a bit for me. But I think that I see the gist of what you were saying, and I agree.
oh,
Here's
did I
another thing
cut
you
in and
could do.
out?
Yeah, a
Yeah.
little bit.
Aw.
But here's another thing you could do is you could bring Sin in with the previous card, with the earlier card, and
Oh,
not
God, here
have
we
to
go.
bring her initially.
No.
That's crazy. It's crazy. I'm just not. I'm not. I liked it on the face reading, but when I think about it, I don't like this card very much.
Oh, I was. Am I clear? Am I good now?
Yeah,
Yeah,
you're good
yeah, we
now.
can
Oh,
hear you now.
jeez.
And
Oh,
you were recording, so the audience won't hear that you broke up. I
oh
don't
yeah,
think.
Right.
that's true. Yeah, all I was saying, just for you guys, is that like I think that this card will always have value. It just depends on what gets released down the road. So.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
All right, let's look at World Domination as our last card, and I actually really like this one. It's Hydra, it's active. If you control all secure objective tokens, an allied Hydra character may play this card. You gain 1 VP for every 2 secure objective tokens you are securing. Additionally, each character you control gains 1 power for every 2 secure objectives you are securing. So, at most, this can net you 2 VPs because it's for every 2, and like Scoundrels has 5, but that will only get you 2. You have Formula, which require you to have all of them. Realistically, you're probably just getting 1 VP out of this, but getting 1 VP and all characters getting a power on your team is, I mean, I think it's a pretty damn good card. So
It's
And you
huge.
don't
That's
have to
very
pay
good.
any power to use it.
yeah, you don't pay anything to use it. It's like old school advanced R&D. Like when somebody was like giving everyone a power. I mean, I guess you could. It's like you could play it whenever. Where like advanced R&D requires you to have like a specific character that like you want to go with. So you're kind of like giving a little tell. But like you're just divvying out all that power and you're getting the added benefit of also having an extra VP. So I really like it. I think that this is probably this one and Scientific Method are probably my two favorite cards out of like all the Hydra releases. So
Yeah. Yeah, this is fun. This is like everyone loves Usurp the Throne. And Usurp the well, I mean it gives you two and it gives him a big buff, but I mean this is
I wasn't listening closely enough. Did you read it with the correct errata?
what's the correct?
if you control all secure objective tokens
That's
and
not right. If you
I'll
secure
secure
all
all
objectives,
if you
yeah.
secure them.
Secure is the word for standing near them.
Yep.
And winning that check. Control is the flip check.
Okay.
It doesn't care if it's a flip scenario or not, or what the flip status is.
It should just be if you contest all secure, right?
No, you have to
No.
secure it. You have to be winning.
Control
I
is
see.
just not a word that applies to the secure objectives. It only works on flip objectives.
I understand.
Yeah.
And you can make this work
And
with
this
the
still
other one.
works on a flipped objective, but you would have to have more healthy characters there or whatever. Like it would work just like it was a secure.
Gotcha.
Is this an active one?
Yes.
Okay, then never mind about what I said. I said that you could make this work with the other one possibly, but you can't because that one triggers. I forget what it's called. The one where curse your sudden but inevitable betrayal. It's that one.
Oh yeah, you can't.
It
use
won't
with that
work
one.
with that because that one triggers during the cleanup phase.
Yep. I also noticed that on this card, active is spelled wrong. They left out the I.
Oh no.
Way to go, AMG. All right. So that was all of the Hydra cards that recently were spoiled.
Wait, no, it wasn't.
Oh,
There's another one.
Oh, did I miss one? What'd I miss?
The one that gives them subterfuge.
Oh shit! What's that called?
It's not. It's unaffiliated.
Ah, that's why I didn't have it up.
Sleeper agent.
Sleeper agent.
All right, so let's look at that really quick. So, Sleeper Agent, unaffiliated, reactive. When you include this card in your squad, choose one non-Hydra affiliated character in your squad. It is now a Hydra affiliated character. If your squad is using the Hydra affiliation, when the chosen character is deployed, it gains Subterfuge. The Subterfuge superpower. Each time this character attacks, after the attack is resolved, if the target character was not dazed or KO'd by the attack, this character loses the superpower. After all characters are deployed, discard this team tactic card. So, I guess I should read Subterfuge. It's passive during this character's activation. Enemy characters cannot use reactive superpowers and cannot play reactive team tactics cards. So it's Mystique's ability.
Which you recently said was the best, or was the superpower you most wanted other people to have.
It is true. I do love that superpower. If this did not have the clause that when they attack, after it's resolved, and you don't daze or KO them, you just lose it.
Yeah.
That
I mean, and so you'll just lose it all the time.
the only the only way that you pull that off is if you are attacking an injured character that has 1 to 2 HP, or you are playing like Malekith, or Corvus
Juggernaut,
or Corvus Glaive, with Reality. Did you say Juggernaut?
Yeah.
Why Juggernaut?
He rolls a lot of dice.
Yeah, he can dish it out.
Let me tell you, I've seen enough superior weight trained She-Hulk dice just absolutely shit the bed to tell you that that's not. You need manipulation. You don't need more of them. You just need consistent manipulation. The only two characters in the game that can
Corvus Glaive is a very good choice.
Yeah, like Malekith is super reliable to daze somebody in like one hit. Like, well, I say that he can be super reliable to daze a character in one blow. Corvus Glaive is more consistent than Malekith. So, like, those two characters are the only characters I would consider putting this on. Now, I can say without a shadow of a doubt that them having Mystique's superpower on a character like Malekith or Corvus Glaive is disgusting.
It is fucking bananas.
Yeah, it's absolutely just gross. To think that Corvus can like hit somebody and you can't bodyguard it, you can't exceptional healing it, you can't do shit. Like that is terrifying because those models already got work done. But like if you just have one super bad roll and like Corvus rolls and he rolls 3 shields, then I mean this was a wasted card. Like now you have like a Hydra Corvus. What do you need that for? I don't know.
Maybe spending the 8 power later on for the inevitable betrayal.
If he
I
would
don't know.
not Glaive's Edge all the time, then maybe. I don't know. I don't like this card.
Now if I may, I agree that you're gonna lose it. You're gonna lose subterfuge, but think about this. And I asked this question in the group, and I think this is how this would work. If you ferocity with Malekith, and he fails to KO with his sword attack, he then throws them. The trigger for losing subterfuge is after the attack is resolved, as is the throw. So you could throw someone into someone else while still having subterfuge, and then after the throw is resolved, you would lose subterfuge. So that throw could not be braced.
Oh.
Which is pretty good. That's a pretty good effect.
Yeah.
I mean, is it worth a card? I don't know. That's a question. But I think that's a pretty good effect.
I have a question.
Also, I think you could still do this on a Sentinel, Brad, because Sentinels they can't be pushed.
Is it not pushed or thrown?
No,
I don't think it's thrown.
It's pushed or advanced.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So you could do this to a Sentinel if you were to do that.
What was your question?
All right, so it says when you include this card in your squad, choose one non-Hydra affiliated character in your squad. It is now a Hydra affiliated character. You still have to be affiliated, right? Because you have to be using a Hydra affiliation.
This does not. Yeah, this does not. You have to be Hydra affiliated to take the card. So it doesn't.
No, you do not have to be Hydra affiliated to take the card.
You don't have to be Hydra affiliated.
He's trying to. It's semantic. He's saying you don't have to be affiliated to take the card.
No,
you
don't
have to
have
be Hydra affiliated to use the card.
Yeah, what I'm saying is this.
No, you don't have to be affiliated to use the card either. You just don't get any benefit from it.
Yeah, he's getting us on the legal front. He's making sure all the I's are dotted. This does not help you get your affiliation, if that's what you're asking.
That was gonna be my defense for it if it happened. I didn't think it was.
No.
They're gonna eventually print a card that does that, and it's gonna be.
I don't know.
I think the two that we have should be.
Yeah.
They do make sense.
And the shield one.
But
and the Sentinel one. It's just like the Sentinel one under the skin.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of these. I don't really like them. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean that's fair. I think on Malekith this could be a real fucking awesome card. But you have to take Malekith with them, and that is getting expensive.
It's not bad. Let's be real.
It's not bad.
That's not a bad thing. Like I said, like that 18 is real scary. Real.
Oh,
scary.
I agree.
All right. Well, that wraps up our lengthy news and announcements. So just some spoiled cards I wanted to cover. Went over the tournament stuff. Other than that, I don't really have anything else. So let's move on to Cerebro announcements. What do you have, Brad?
Okay, so there are 2 updates this week. I guess 3. I fixed a visual bug where the reorder button for characters was showing up to the right of their thumbnails, not the left. That's not that big of a deal. I also added to the play feature. The power up button now adds the extra power from innate superpowers that give a set amount. So, like flipped goblin who rolls and gets some variable amount of power, it won't do that. But if you just get 1 or 2 extra power, like Hulk, you get that.
Did you say
in
Hulk?
the Hulk.
Sound like you said
Hulk,
Hulk.
big
I
green
thought
guy.
I thought he said Culk,
Like
but meant
Hulk.
cuck, and I was really like, all right, here's Brad again.
Here we go.
A
Cable,
little early, but here we are.
The Incredible Cuck.
like Cable, who gets extra power, or Jean Grey. Everyone's playing Jean Grey, right?
Cable's definitely a cuck.
It also.
We are talking about Cyclops.
Oh my God! Let me finish. It also does the extra power from having Infinity Gems and the extra one on top of that for having the Power Gem. So it does all that now at the push of a button.
The power
Which-
at your fingertips.
It's funny. I got an email asking me the day I pushed it live, I got an email asking to add that feature. And I was like, I've got good news for you, buddy. And then the other thing I added is now there is a link to the Cerebro Patreon. There are just 2 tiers on there right now. There's $1 if you just want to give a little bit of money. And then there's $5 a month. And for $5 a month, you get your name on the website. It's the very top thing on the homepage. So right now we've got Rusty on there as our first big spender. I did get a second $5 a month tier person. And so next time the site's updated, they get to go on there. And I don't remember his name off the top of my head.
God,
I do
damn it.
appreciate him.
You got to remember those
You know
names.
what? I'm gonna look it up.
Look
and
it
shout him
up. We're
out.
gonna shout them out on the
Brian.
cast.
Thank you, Brian.
There
You
we
know
go.
what
are
you know what we
listening,
should
I
offer?
appreciate
We should offer them to be able to play a game on TTS with Jared.
Oh.
We might do that at a higher tier.
Jeez.
I also-
Sell me out.
This is breaking news. I've not put this anywhere else. This is for our podcast listeners to hear first.
Consider me broken.
You can't put goals on Patreon anymore, so I'm just gonna have to like say this is a goal and whatever. But if we get to $100 a month on the Patreon, I will then feel comfortable spending the lots of extra time to get the app in the app stores.
Ooh.
Oh.
And the app in the app stores will have offline mode so that you don't have to be connected to the internet to bring up your lists and stuff. And it will update the web, like it'll update to the database when it is connected. But when it's not connected, it'll still be usable. But I have to, at that point, I have to maintain 2 different versions of Cerebro. So it's like twice as much work. That's why it's going to be a goal.
Thousands of people using Cerebro every day. Surely 100 of you cheap bastards can donate $1.
Well, it's
So
not
that
even
we can get-
100. We already have $11 worth from 3 people.
If 89 of you cheap bastards can get on there and give Brad $1, he'll even come over and cuck your whole house.
No, I won't.
Come on, Brad. That's what the people want.
Nah.
Whatever. I like that better. That would have excited me so much more. If you're like,
What's the Patreon
breaking
level
news.
we have to subscribe to get that to happen?
Oh,
Like,
come. Yeah.
Give us a number.
$200. Brad will.
No.
He'll come cuck a bitch. No.
No.
Right.
Let me gather myself. Longshanks. It's still on you, Brad. What do you have for Longshanks?
So I just want to point out that they have a new article series on Longshanks that some people might like. So to find the articles, you look at the menu and you find tools and resources. And then it's called Blog Shanks. It's right under the help button. And currently, as of recording, the most recent article is what I'm talking about. It's going to be a monthly article called MCP by the Numbers. It's by Jacob Frelinger, who is also making special dice for the people who place well at Second Wind. But he goes over like win rates and crisis selection and points and all that stuff. And he has these pretty graphs. And it was a pretty good read. So if you're interested in that sort of thing, read his article.
Awesome. I can't when I was in high school, I used to watch a lot of Chappelle Show, and there was one episode that is iconic where he had Wayne Brady on, and this was in the height of like Wayne Brady, when he was like just singing, and he was on Whose Line Is It Anyways, and he was like kind of a little bit more known as like a wholesome guy or whatever, and he got on that episode of Chappelle Show, and he was talking to some working women on the streets, and you found out that Wayne Brady was a pimp in like that skit. And he turned around and he said, "Is Wayne Brady gonna have to choke a bitch?" And that was really funny. But all I can hear is Brad in that car being like, "Is Brad gonna have to cuck a bitch?" And it's really getting me. It's cracking me up.
What's
Jared,
next
I
on the
didn't know you
agenda?
got wet.
Do what?
I didn't know you got wet.
What's next on the agenda?
PCP.
uh,
Angel Dust.
okay. So this one, like Brad, just like, please God, can we move on? Um, talking about our games we played this week. So we did have one of our listeners, Steve, come down. He was swinging through the states, traveling back to Ohio, and he messaged us and asked if our weekly game night was Wednesdays. So he stopped by and played, and I actually got to play 2 games against him because I think the last time he came down to the tournament, we didn't get paired up, and then I didn't stay for the post tournament games that got played, but I got to play 2 games against him. I asked him what he wanted to play. He didn't really have a preference. So the first game, I busted out Shield because I'd been playing them prior to Malekith coming out. So I decided to give them another run. And he played Midnight Suns. And really, like, I just got incredibly lucky kind of early in the game. I know Ghost Rider double moved medium and took my side cube on, it'd be my right side of the board. And I think I put a couple damage into him with someone. I can't remember who I put a couple damage into him with. But anyways, Winter Soldier was sitting there within 5. And I was like, I'm just going to be a Beyblade and let it rip. And I just shot right into him. And I did exactly enough damage to put him on 1 health left. And he was holding 1 cube, which means that he dazed in the power phase.
Ooh.
Yeah,
Ooh.
and that was, I think that kind of just set up the game for me because we were playing sword based and cubes, and him not getting a Ghost Rider activation in turn 2 was pretty rough for him. So after a couple rounds, I kind of pulled ahead very quickly on points. I think I scored the sword base both rounds, so I was up pretty heavily. So we re-racked. He wanted to try playing into Shield again. I guess he wasn't. No one plays him like locally where he's at, and he decided to bring out Defenders because he wanted to give them a shot. And I played Hulk for the first time in my Shield roster, which I never played Hulk. I don't think I think I might have played Hulk like one time even before the changes. Like I was just never a big Hulk player. But he didn't really do a whole lot. I managed to find the Skrull because we played Skrulls and Mutant Madman. That was the other one. And Hulk was lucky enough to find the Skrull. And after that, I kind of just ran away with Hulk. He did an insane amount of damage to him. He kept changing it to Mystic with the Empowerment so that I couldn't get my rerolls. And I think it was round 4 or 5. He needed to do 3 damage to Hulk, and he Mystic Empowered the first one and had a terrible roll, and then he did the second one, which was it had to be energy, so I got rerolls against it, and I managed to roll into 2 blocks to his 3, and Hulk lived. So it just a few rolls went my way on that game, but overall a fun time. Steve, if you're listening, thank you again for coming down. I had a blast playing against you, and hope to see you again soon. So Shield's good. I like Shield. What about you, Brad? I think you played Borka.
Yeah, I played Borka. I played Brotherhood. Last time I played a game was against Borka, and it was his Guardians, which he had Wednesday, and my X-Men, which I normally play. So I did not want to play that matchup again since we just played it. So I played Brotherhood. He had a wider list than me, and that helped him out, I think, a lot. And he won the game. He played well. I'm real rusty with Brotherhood. That did not help. And it was a D. And Brotherhood don't like the D.
He said he's up to, but they do like box. He said that he was up to like 10 wins in a row, right?
Yeah, that was his.
Y'all are just gonna
win
let Brad
Guardians.
say that Brotherhood doesn't like the D and just like not say anything.
I had made a box joke.
We're just gonna let that slide.
Yeah, if we had been on like an E or even probably a B, it would have been better. But an E or a C would have been great. That would help me out a lot.
So did he just win on score, or did he win on like attrition?
Yeah, he won on score. He did attrition me really hard at the end of the game. My last turn, I either only had Magneto left, or oh no, I had a Juggernaut too. I had Magneto and Juggernaut left. He had
I just
killed.
had half my roster left. It's okay.
It was half my roster. He had killed Mystique and Rogue, but I had the.
So he
good
killed your
stuff
2
left.
smallest characters. And,
Yeah, he did. But
God.
like they were.
Why do we let Brad talk this much?
On. Magneto was flipped. Juggernaut was not. But his Thanos had all 4 hammers, and I couldn't kill Thanos.
How do you let that
daze
happen?
Thanos? He kept going after the people and dazing them and taking the hammers with Thanos.
I mean, that makes sense.
He would weaken people with others and then finish them off with Thanos and pick up their hammers.
It seems like he was just trolling you at that point. Like, what the hell's going on?
Yeah.
I mean, it's like Thanos was collecting something.
Yeah.
He does like to collect things.
He's just got one gauntlet that has 5 hammers hanging off of it. So you making that D joke, that reminded me, like, if you're a normal adult, like, you wouldn't laugh at it. But Mike said it in the Discord earlier. I think everyone was talking about, like, the rulings on world domination and stuff like that. And then Mike was like, I keep trying to engineer a good way to take a D on the first turn. I was like, ah. That was just
There was definitely too many messages that I didn't read that conversation, and now I'm sad about it.
I was just talking about taking a D, and I'm a child, so I laughed. All right. Yeah. So it's good to play those games. Next week we might be trying out a new game, so I don't know if we'll play much MCP. But all right. Well, with that, I think we're ready to move on to the character review. If you guys are ready.
I'm ready.
All right. So
you couldn't see me, but I was shaking my head. Yes.
Nice. I could feel it. Thank you, Tim, for giving us. Well, thanks. I'm glad that you interrupted the thank you to Tim with the yawning. Thanks, Brandon.
I just wanted to make sure.
Thank you, Tim, for suggesting Cyclops. Again, if anyone would like to hear our terrible thoughts on a particular character, feel free to leave us a comment, message us, reach out to us, and let us know which character you'd like to see, because we care about you. So, Cyclops, aka Scott Summers. He is 6 health, medium move, size 2, threat 4. He has a 4/3/3 stat line. He has Optic Blast, range 4 energy attack coming in at 5 dice. He gets the standard power equal to damage dealt, and this has a Wild Push. If the target character is size 2 or less, before damage is dealt, you can push them away short. He has the Optic Devastation Spender. It is a beam 5, 7 dice, 4 power costs with a wild concussive force. After each attack is resolved, the target character loses 1 power. We have a leadership for X-Men, and I believe Brad thinks that this is the better of the two. This is X-Men Blue.
I need to contact my lawyer for this slander.
Once per turn, when an allied character declares an attack action, but before it chooses an attack to use, any number of allied characters within 3 of the attacking character may spend 1 power. For each 1 power spent this way, reduce the power cost of the attacking character's attacks by 1 to a minimum of 1 for this attack action. So, if you're using any attack that costs power, if you have allies within 3, they can spend 1 power each, and you reduce it. So, not great. Field Leader. It's an active superpower. Costs 3. Choose another allied character within 4. That character advances short. A character can be made to advance by the superpower only once per turn. That is a very good superpower. He has the active Hit and Run. Costs 2. It is an action. You make an attack action followed by a move action. It can only be used once per turn. He has Quick Draw. It is reactive and it costs 2. When this character is targeted by an attack and the attacker is not within 2 of this character may use the superpower. Instead of rolling dice equal to its defense, it rolls 5 defense dice. Then, if the character suffers no damage from the attack, after the attack is resolved, the attacker suffers 2 damage. So, I actually really like that. I think most of them you see, they have to be within 2. This one is outside of 2, so I like that one a lot. And then he has no changes on his injured side. Everything stays the same. So, oh, no, I lied. Oh, no, he doesn't go down the stamp. So, no changes. So, I would be remiss to start off looking at Cyclops if I did not allow Brad to speak first.
Thank you.
Go ahead, Brad.
Cyclops is one of my favorite characters from the comics. So it is incredibly disappointing what we got. There is good stuff on his card. Like Quick Draw's great. Hit and Run's good. Field Leader's great. He just never has enough power for it. And that leadership is god-awful. So the other leaderships that do stuff with power net you some power. This never gives you any extra power. Even if this ability was something like, if you have an ally within 3, you get your spender 1 cheaper or whatever. That would be better because that nets you something. This doesn't net anything. It just moves it around. Inhumans have the same problem.
Wait. Are you saying Inhumans and X-Men are the same?
No, I'm saying that they are. That
That's
this
what I heard.
leadership and the Inhumans leadership are equally bad. As a character in it, like that you would play, that's not your leader, he's okay. It's just there's better options. There's at least two better 4-point X-Men.
I mean, all of his superpowers are like really good.
Yeah, that's why I said he's decent. Like I've played him a lot just in a roster, especially before the newest wave of X-Men. Like when Rogue, Colossus, Magic, X-23, all of them came out. I haven't really played him since. But before that, I was playing him pretty consistently. And like he's pretty good on the table. There's just better options now. Either outside of faction or the two that are definitely better than him inside the faction. That's Colossus and Rogue.
Just spoilers if you're listening and maybe you've not been playing this game, or maybe you're just getting into it, or you haven't been playing for a long time. Cyclops has kind of been a little bit of a meme in the game, and it is unfortunate because you're probably not going to hear very high regards on this character, and he's not, like, to Brad's point, he's not like a terrible piece or anything. Like he's okay at some things. Field Leader's at like an exceptional superpower. Like it actually is really, really good. It just costs 3, which sucks, and then he doesn't
have a good way to get power.
Yeah, he's a meme because that leadership, when you compare it to Storm's, which I know that we're not looking at Storm, but hers is like one of the best leaderships in the game. And if you don't know what
And
it is,
his might be the worst.
yeah, like she I don't. We're not going to cover Storm too much, but what hers does is enable a place effect, which is incredible, especially when you take larger base models. You get a place off of an ally. It's kind of similar to Winter Soldier's Hydra tactics. You choose an ally and then you place within one. It's very very good, and then she just grants cover at all times. So she has a two-part
Side of two.
leadership. And yeah, unless you're if you're outside of two, you always have cover, which is amazing. It's such a good ability, and that would be fine
That's
by itself.
incredible.
But she got two parts. You have this, which gives you literally no benefit. Like I don't know. We'll let somebody else
Well, hold
go.
on. I
Oh,
got one more thing to
oh
say.
yeah, go ahead.
There's no reason that builder isn't either range 5 or 6 dice.
Let me ask
One
you,
of those two things.
what if it was
I would
range?
prefer range 5.
What if it was range 5? It gave him a flat power instead of power equal to damage, but it had ricochet.
Oh, that'd be good.
That would be
Huh.
good.
I wonder, who does that sound like?
I mean, that's Captain America, right?
I know. Yeah, it is.
Yeah, like I think that if you made it a flat one and didn't give him that push and gave him
I think
ricochet instead.
push is fine.
No, I
The
mean like
push should probably be size 3 as well. Also, before you say anything more, the fact that these are energy attacks is a disgrace.
oh, go ahead. Go ahead
He
and
is
rant.
he is punching you with his eye beams. That is a physical attack.
We should have done this without Brad.
Like
Nah,
for the
everyone has to hear the
game,
rage.
energy's better. Like that's the better attack type. But it just makes me feel like no one in that office likes Cyclops.
Why is it not energy? He's shooting lasers, right?
They're punch lasers.
Why are you,
They don't burn or anything. They're physical force.
yeah, but there's
They
still
like if he hits you with one, it's like getting punched.
yeah, but
What's the symbol in the physical attack?
Punch.
but it's a laser.
No, shut up.
What he's saying is, if this was Captain Falcon and it was an energy attack, he'd be equally as upset.
Yeah,
Did you mean to say Captain Falcon?
Yes.
Okay. I
Because
see what you mean. I see
there
what
you
you're
go.
saying.
You
Okay,
got
it took
there.
me a second.
Well, that was spun off because you said you were like punch, and I was like Falco.
Falco punch.
Yeah, and then all kind of, and then
okay.
Fred
I've said my
missed it
piece.
at
Someone
first.
else can talk if they want.
You're talking, Brandon. Let it rip.
Oh God. Cyclops is like a slightly above average 3-point model, uh, which is really bad for a 4-point model to be. I don't know, man. He's awful.
Like, if
Like,
they do another round of erratas, he's on the list, right? He's number 1
and it's like,
in bold.
unfortunately, like, I'm not even sure if he's really like close, right? Like, his leadership's god awful. Like, if you're playing leaderships, mainly, and it's mostly because of Storms is so good, but like, to make this like a solid 4-point character, like, you need to add a dice to Optic Blast. You need to probably lower the cost of Quick Draw, maybe. Probably one of those need to go down.
It's not going to be quick draw because it's in parallel with martial prowess.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Like, but one of those probably have to go down,
No,
or
I
if you
think
add,
I think they're all
It'd be
costed
field leader.
because like
or you have to completely errata the leadership. Like,
Oh yeah, you have to change that.
I
yeah,
think
that's what I'm
that
saying. Like, so like you got to change Optic Blast, you got to change the leadership, and then you probably gotta maybe just give him an extra power, like in the power phase.
I think that the leadership needs fixed, like 100%, like and he's just redone. I think that the superpowers are appropriately costed because like hit and run across everything's 2, quick draws 2, and I think that they should be. Field
I think they're
leader,
appropriately costed. I think he needs some sort of like extra like power or
that's what I
something.
I think that if they gave him like legitimately like Captain America's shield throw, like it would be fine. Like give him a flat power and give it ricochet because he probably hits it. He generates one power and then with 2 attacks he can.
Does his punch beam bounce off people, Brad?
Yes.
He's the master of trigonometry.
He is a master of trigonometry.
God, I hate Cyclops so much.
You know what? You know what reflects off of things?
We should have done
Lasers.
this cast without Brandon.
Jeez, 2 people have gotten killed this episode. Fred, we're the only ones left.
Oh my god.
Go ahead, Fred. What do you think?
Let's talk about this Beam 5 spender.
That costs
I mean
4.
that's it costs 4, but it's Beam 5, and I think that's why he's 4 points. I mean, that along with a couple of the other things that are like quick draw, and
I mean, if it did anything, maybe.
yeah, I mean, it needs to have what we have here is a 4-pointer who's an underwhelming 4-pointer, and with a bad leadership. And in that combination in this game means that he just doesn't see the table, especially in an affiliation which is loaded down with awesome models. So, I mean, his problem is that he's obsolete.
Well, I
I
think
that's his problem.
I think that's
From
actually
the
really.
moment he was released, he was obsolete.
I think that's a good word for it, right? Like obsolete. Like, I mean, I think that you can kind of safely say that they were probably working on X-Men from like the very early iterations of the game, right? Like
Yeah.
they clearly knew that they were going to do X-Men. They probably wanted to save it for like a big release. So this is an early character, and I think that they probably worked on it for a while. And at the time, not to like, because like Storm is she has like a couple issues, but she's really fucking good. So like at the time, they probably thought that all this like was all right and costed, but like they've learned, and you see that like a lot of newer models that they release, like you're just getting straight value town out of them, and I don't know that it's necessarily like power creep, like I don't want to use that term, but I think that they understand like in different threat ranges. Yeah, like in different threat ranges, like how to give them value. And I think that as a leader, you're not like when you compare him to like I mean Red Skull's 5, but when you compare him to like a Red Skull, like you just have value town, he benefits your team. Like it's kind of like what I was saying last time, like out of a leader, like you want them to be self-sustainable, and you want them to be supporting their team in some facet.
Even if you compare him to Strucker, he looks bad.
Yeah, like this.
And Strucker's a point less.
He really doesn't help his team. Like this leadership does nothing for your team. It just costs like you're just playing the game. You're not getting any bonuses for taking this leadership, which sucks. He's not very self-sustained because he does not have any dice manipulation, and because he has no flat power gain, he doesn't always do the best with power, which on a 4 threat feels bad. Like, yeah, Rocket flubs some rolls. He's 2 threat. Who gives a shit? But him, like, you don't want him to be messing up his 5 dice builders. And, like, field leader's good, but he can't, like, sustain himself to, like, do it all the time. So, I don't know. Wild Concussive Force is also, like the Beam 5, 7 dice is good. Wild Concussive Force, that's just such an odd ability, like an odd trigger.
Yeah. Colossus has it too.
Well, it is a punchy beam, remember?
Yeah.
It
is weird. If it was all characters in the beam lose 1 each time you rolled it, that would be really cool.
Yeah. That's kind of like how I initially read it, but that's not how it is.
No.
I would have liked it better if it like handed out stun.
Stun would be cool.
That would have been so good.
I mean, it kind of fits with Concussive Force.
Yeah.
It should be stun.
But you're gonna like roll 7 dice, give them like a bunch of power maybe, and then like they lose 1.
A bunch of power minus 1.
Before
Yeah, and then
damage is done.
Yeah.
Give them stun before damage.
Oh, that's too
great.
strong. That's
That'd
too
be great.
strong. On a Beam 5, 7 dice, that's too strong.
It costs 4 to do.
Yeah, I don't think it's too strong. If you're not changing his point value from 4 to 3, it's not too strong.
I
The
don't know
problem
that.
is like he's literally if you make him
God.
3 and don't change anything, he's a barely above average 3-point model.
I think if you, I mean, you have to change the leadership because it's literally like I, it just sucks. Like that leadership
It's
is
bad.
it's such shit. But so like even at a 3, like you could take him in X-Men and it would be fine. And I think for like I
He
mean
would
his
never be leader.
yeah, it would never be a leader. I think as a 3, like as a 3 cost character, like he's pretty serviceable and you could probably find him in spots. Like he's a serviceable character. I say serviceable loosely. A character like currently if you just take him as a character, not as a leader, but like as a 3 threat, like he would be a good serviceable character. His stamp pool would probably have to come down, but you could probably leave him alone. But that leadership, just something has to change with it. So I'll ask you, Brad. You love X-Men. You've played X-Men religiously since they dropped in the game. What would you do to change this leadership to keep the theme of what they were going for, but like do something different to make it
Okay.
good? What would you do?
The easiest, simplest thing to just is to change it from they can spend power to you just get one off for each.
Yeah.
Just you get a discount, a straight discount for having your friends nearby
They're within 3.
if they're within 3. That's
Okay.
the easiest thing to do to fix it. Another thing people have pitched that I don't like is take off the range restriction. Just let your friends help you pay for it all over the table. I don't like that because you're still not getting anything.
The
I would
only
like to see it generate or not make you spend power to do.
I think that if you still could get reduced by each friend that goes down to a minimum of 1, that might be too
Yes.
strong because on Demon Gamma, like when you're gonna be bunched up anyways, X-Men go wide, you have 4 guys nearby, he's just doing optic devastations twice a fucking round, like after round
Yeah.
2
It's
on a
pretty
80.
good.
That is too strong. So
It's pretty good.
I think that maybe if you had a friend nearby, it like what if you had a friend nearby within 3 and it either like you could reduce the cost.
By 2.
No, you could reduce the cost of a spender or like anything that costs power, like a spender or a superpower by 1 if you had a friend nearby. So it's like Rogers, where you just get like a
What
discount.
if, okay, how about this? I'll pitch this to you.
Okay.
Down to a minimum of 1 for each one on one thing you spent that turn.
So either an attack or a superpower.
It doesn't matter. You could still keep it just attack. But you couldn't do it twice. You could only do it once. Like, kind of like, what's that card where you take damage to make it cheaper?
No matter the cost.
No matter the cost. Like a no matter the cost. You could do it on one attack. You could make it 3 cheaper because you have 3 friends. To a minimum of 1. That'd be good.
I think I could. That still might be too strong. I think I could get more on board with that one though.
Okay, what about it instead of once per turn, once per round?
Oh, once per round?
Yeah, I said once per turn last time. So each character could do it. But what if it was once per round, no minimum of 1?
Ooh.
And then something small, like, because that's like the jump. And then something small that doesn't give you power. That would you'd use more often, like the cover thing. I don't know what.
Yeah, I think if you made that once per round, there was no minimum on it, and then you had like a small like second dot
Yeah,
point attached to this, yeah, I think that'd probably be okay.
that'd be good.
That'd be good.
I said in the Discord the other day, they really need to let me design this game. Just the X-Men stuff, though. I don't give enough shits about Steve Rogers to design Steve Rogers, but I got this X-Men shit in the bag.
Yeah, that'd probably be alright. Well, I guess we can move on to rating. Uh,
We even let Fred talk about him?
Oh wait, he did. He talked about optic devastation, didn't he?
Yeah, I'm. My points are made by. I have no points to add.
Oh, I might have cut you off when I talked about something else. You can keep going
It's
if
fine.
you want. Go ahead.
Let's go to the character ratings.
Oh, okay. I guess start us off again, Brad.
A C-.
Oh.
He's not even real good just to play in an X-Men list.
C-. All right, Fred.
I'm gonna give him a C+. I like the Beam 5 and I like the Quick Draw. C+.
I just want to reiterate, his superpowers are good. It's everything else.
All
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
Brandon, let's see if we're on the same page. D.
Yeah, he's a D. Yeah.
He's-
I'd partially argue D-. Actually, I'm gonna go with D-.
I was there, but then like I did think about the superpowers, and I'm like, they are really good. So
The problem is the superpowers are good, but he's still a fourth threat character, and like nothing he does justifies
no, I know, but
paying
like
fourth threat for him.
it's like field leader and like quick draw stuff. Is that enough for me to go from D- to D? I think so. So
I think I want to go D- just because Fred gave him a C+, and that just like hurt me. It hurt me when he said it because I was like in my head I was like, there's no way he's getting above like a C or a C- in this, and then Fred's just like, bam, C+, and I was like, no fucking
No,
way.
Hey,
he's not a
hey.
C+.
Hey, this is me, and I'm very positive.
That might be the worst score Fred's given anybody though. So
I think it is.
It might be.
All
I don't
right.
know. What do
That's
you give?
like
What do you give
his
Crossbones? He
ass.
does hate Crossbones. I don't remember.
I was not present on the Crossbones episode, unfortunately.
Oh.
That was
so
before
what would,
Fred.
right now, what would you give Crossbones?
I would probably give Crossbones a D.
But
I
would
think
you give him a
Crossbones
D
is
if we were
better
all
than
bashing
Cyclops.
it? Yeah, I
Oh,
do
wow.
too. Actually, I do think Crossbones is better than Cyclops.
Okay.
I think X-Men have two of the worst characters in the entire game,
That's
and
true.
it's ironically probably
And
their
they're married.
two.
Yeah, they're married.
And it's like two of their most like
And their-
beloved characters.
And their boyfriend is also bad.
Yeah, he's
That's
not.
true.
he's
They
not the
really
best.
made like the three of the most iconic X-Men some of the worst models in the fucking game. I do love that Cyclops is fucking awful though because I don't know why, but I've hated Cyclops like since I was a child.
I think at a young age, you either take the Wolverine or the Cyclops stance. You know what I mean? You're either a Wolverine guy or a Cyclops guy.
People have them completely wrong.
Well, we have a D-, a D, a C, and a C. Would you say
C-
or
and a
C-
C+.
and a C+. So what does that give us?
Okay,
Like
I'm
a-
changing my answer to D to make up for Fred's C+.
Well, now I'm just way out here.
That to be fair, that C- was literally just because he was Cyclops.
To be fair,
Like,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
that you weren't given if that character didn't say Cyclops at the top, there was no way he was getting a C-.
No.
He got at least 2-letter grades higher than he should have just because his name.
all right. Well, yeah, not looking good. Good for your boy. You can like we're not telling you to not play him. Like he can be fun on the table. Like I played him like once and he was like he did things that were okay. So play him if you like him.
I'm going to go out on a limb and specifically tell Tim Scarberry, don't play him.
Yes, Tim. Don't play.
Buy
Cyclops.
him, paint him, put him on a shelf. That's the best use you'll ever get out of him.
He'll
I
look
have
good.
2 painted Cyclopses that
Oh my
never see
God.
play.
Oh my God. All right. Well, I think with that we can move on to the comic book recommendation. So take it over, Brad.
This was the hardest comic book recommendation so far. Because I
Was it
want
the hardest or
the
was it
hardest.
just a difficult? Because we've had some pretty hard-inducing comic recommendations lately.
It was the most difficult. Because
Nice.
there's so many Cyclops stories I like. There was one I was going to talk about. I was like, no, I'm going to wait for Storm and talk about that one. But I picked out 3. I narrowed it down to 3. And I think that was amazing that I got it down to 3. So the first one is X Factor 65 through 68. This is by Jim Lee, Wills Portacio, and Chris Claremont. This is this arc's called Endgame. This is the original Endgame. This was back in the 80s, way before the stupid Avengers movie. The Avengers are stupid. I have hard evidence of that. The reason Marvel started making Iron Man movies and Avengers movies and stuff is because those characters were the ones they couldn't sell the movie rights to. Nobody wanted them. They sold the movie rights for their two properties that were popular, Spider-Man and X-Men. So the Avengers were lame before the movies.
They were actually. I will contest to that.
Okay. So X Factor is made up of the original 5 X-Men: Cyclops, Jean Grey, Beast, Angel, Iceman. And they have gotten back together, and they recently beat Apocalypse, who first showed up in X Factor. And they took over his celestial ship and made it their base. You've recently seen Celestials in Eternals. But they took over that ship and made their base. Apocalypse took this time and went and took over the inhuman city of Adelan. And honestly, they deserved it. But because Inhumans suck.
Hey, man.
It's a pretty good show.
He then hacks into the ship and gets it to start destroying New York. And X Factor has to stop the ship, and then they end up facing off against Apocalypse. And the culmination of this story is to potentially save Cyclops' son, Nathan Christopher Summers. This is the son he had with Madeline Pryor, the clone of Jean Grey, while Jean Grey was dead. They send him to the future to be raised by his sister, who is never born in this timeline. And then he grows up to be Cable.
I feel like I have to have a 300 IQ to understand some of the X-Men fucking plots.
It's all right. Scott and Jean had a daughter in a timeline that then they erased by changing the future.
Okay.
And that daughter raised Scott's baby with Jean Grey's clone.
Hey, Brad, you're not making this easier. You can just continue.
Yeah.
Then that guy grew up to be Cable, who came back in time and is older than Cyclops' dad.
For those of you at home, one time we had to endure one night listening to Brad go through the entire Summers family tree.
I am
very
so
hard.
upset that so many of Scott Summers' children have come back in time and are just a part of normal X-Men comics, except my favorite one, Ruby Summers, who is his daughter with Emma Frost, and she is made of ruby quartz.
Cyclops, he kind of gets around.
He a hoe, bro.
He kind of gets around.
He's a potent boy.
He is.
Okay.
He's shooting
So-
them fists.
Don't worry, there's still 2 more comic recommendations.
There are. This comic was the first arc after the previous writer had left the series and completely altered the trajectory of X-Men comics. And Cyclops is it is a very Cyclops-centered story. He is the star of this. The next one I want to recommend, this one, I was going to say it's not quite as complicated, but there's some complicated bits. It's called Uncanny X-Men 540 through 544, and it's by Kieran Gillen and Greg Land.
Wait, Kieran Gillen?
Isn't that the actor?
Oh, we've had this discussion before.
Not
Never
Karen, Kieran.
Kieran.
We've done this before.
Love that Fred went full circle there. He was like, wait, we've done this.
Did you just travel back in time like the X-Men?
There's a deja vu moment happening here.
He changed the timeline.
The best thing that X-Men ever did was cast Hugh Jackman as Wolverine.
Sorry.
And in 2 years, we get to see him as Wolverine again.
Yeah, I wasn't letting this cast go through without mentioning that for the
That
record.
Deadpool 3 is coming out.
Deadpool 3 is coming out, and Hugh Jackman's in it as Wolverine.
Yeah.
So.
This storyline is a tie-in to the Fear Itself event, which is the event where there are a bunch of people grabbing hammers that turn them evil. This is the inspiration for the Hammers Crisis in the game. And Juggernaut has gotten one of the hammers and has been possessed and is trying to destroy the X-Men's new home in San Francisco. They moved out west. And Cyclops
Fitting
leads,
for them to be in San Francisco.
like, what?
Said fitting for them to be in San Francisco.
Yeah, I mean, San Francisco is like, yeah, we'll take the mutants. It's fine. So Cyclops leads the fight against Juggernaut, and it's a super powerful Juggernaut. And they're throwing everything at the wall. So they're using, like, most of the mutants in existence to try to stop him. And nothing stops the Juggernaut. So this is the arc that made me realize how much I like Cyclops. He's one of my favorites. And he'd been quietly one of my favorites without me realizing it until a specific moment. So they just tried something to stop the Juggernaut. And it was this, like, convoluted plan. It did not work. And the X-Men's lawyer, who can turn into a dragon, looks at Cyclops and goes, so we try plan B? And Cyclops goes, no, plan 2. Plan B would imply that we only have 26 plans. He's the guy who has way more than 26 plans.
Cyclops?
Yeah. He's ready for anything. They recently really made that textual in some of the comics you haven't read yet, Jared. There are, like, data pages of, if you get attacked by a kaiju, this is what you should do, sort of things that Cyclops has written. He plans for everything.
Well, look at that.
Yeah. The way they end up defeating Juggernaut is also very interesting, and it involves Magic and Colossus, if you're fans of those characters. It is a very pivotal moment in their history. So I really like the X-Men part of this crossover. Fear Itself in general is not real great, though. Any questions on that before I move to the next one?
No, I
Nope.
think you should.
I think you should go ahead, man.
Go ahead.
Okay. The last one is Uncanny X-Men 2013 series by Brian Michael Bendis and Chris Bocciolo. This is Cyclops finally getting fed up with all the bigotry and hate he gets from the humans, and he goes full terrorist against the government. Well, at least that's what, like, they advertised it as. If you read the comic, it's very sympathetic to the mutant plight and basically paints Cyclops as absolutely being right for doing this. But they break mutants out of jail because they're wrongfully imprisoned and all sorts of stuff. Some people during this time that obviously weren't reading the book were like, Cyclops is a bad guy now, when he was doing good stuff. And I said earlier that people have Wolverine and Cyclops wrong. In the comics, Cyclops is always the one that goes against authority when push comes to shove. And Wolverine's always the one that's like, no, we should work for the government or whatever. So while Cyclops is out being, like, a freedom fighter, Wolverine's running a school and being like, no, let's work with the government as they try to kill us and stuff. Wolverine is the cop, not Cyclops.
Did they?
No, like, everyone loves Wolverine because Wolverine tells Cyclops to fuck off, bro. Like, we don't like him because of his attitude. We like him because he hates Cyclops.
But Cyclops is right.
I do have
Says the cop.
I do have a question. Does You think Cyclops, did he get his name because of the lasers that he shoots out, or did he get his name from all his sexual escapades?
He he got it from the look of his visor.
Oh, okay. So it
Which
wasn't.
There is
which makes the most sense, but
It
are
was.
Cyclops in fantasy like a sexual deviant of a character?
I mean, I
he's
think.
talking about the one-eyed snake.
Yeah. I'm talking about a penis,
Uh,
Brandon. A
uh,
penis.
I was thinking of
Uh,
actual
there's a
Cyclops. Okay, I'm back. I'm here.
this would
Nice.
also have been a good one to talk about. So you can get a freebie here.
Love freebies.
Written by Mike Carey. There's this series called what was that crossover called? Age of X. That's what it was called. It's an alternate timeline type thing that all of the X-Men remember happening. But in it, Cyclops isn't called Cyclops. He's called Basilisk. And what they did before the start of the series, you see a flashback, they cut his eyelids off and would use him to torture prisoners
Jesus
against his
Christ.
will.
Oh
Yeah.
dear.
Yeah.
So it's
And
kind
so
of what they
he
did
wears-
to Deadpool and X-Men Wolverine's over origin.
Yeah, I guess they did something like that, didn't they? Anyway, and then he wears a mask, like a full face mask to block his optic blast instead of just a visor.
Well, that took a dark turn.
Basilisk is a better name for him.
It is.
That's
It's
a
really
much cooler
good.
name. I don't think I would have hated him as a child if he was named Basilisk.
It's a good name.
I do enjoy, to be fair, I'm not going to
fair.
be completely negative on Cyclops the entire time. The the oh god, the X-Men SNES game, Mutant Apocalypse.
I have that.
Yeah, so do I. It's great.
It's fucking good.
But Cyclops is very good to play with in that game, and that's about as far as I'm going.
Yep.
On positives. That game has some.
I can
Like-
tell when people haven't read X-Men comics because they don't like Cyclops. If you actually read X-Men
That's fair.
comics, you like Cyclops.
You know I haven't, so it's fine. Is he playable in the Spider-Man X-Men game?
I don't know.
I don't either. I
I don't
have
know
it.
the answer to that.
I haven't, and I'll be honest, I have not played it since I bought it.
Well, thank you, Brad, for all the Cyclops lore. Maybe one day we'll dedicate a whole episode so you can just talk about Cyclops because you know so much.
Maybe
I
when we actually
probably
get a
will
good
wander
Cyclops.
off from Cyclops and talk about other stuff.
That's fine. I can boot up the recording. I can go and
Like the
run
fact
my
that-
errands and just let you have at it.
Like
You can play Cyclops in the game.
Cyclops' baby mama, the clone of Jean Grey,
No,
is now the literal queen of hell.
We're not doing it now. We're just gonna do it later. We're gonna do it at a later date. You save all that.
Or don't save it. Either way.
All right, Brandon, why don't you take us through a roster that you have for our boy here?
All right. I developed the perfect roster for Cyclops, and anybody can do it. So you develop a roster. In this scenario, I chose to build. Sorry, I'm trying to get pulled up here. Where'd it go? Where'd it go? Oh, there it is. A Guardians of the Galaxy list.
All right.
Featuring Cyclops. So the perk of this list is you get to play all your core characters. They're Guardians of the Galaxy. You've got Drax, Groot, Nebula, Rocket, Star-Lord, Gamora, and then you can play Malekith, and then you can play like a Hulk or a Thanos, and then you can play Cyclops because you're never going to have to play him ever. And the best roster you can build for Cyclops is a roster that you never have to play him in. Because if there's ever a scenario where he fits in perfectly, he's there for you to take, and you never have to actually think about it.
That's sad.
It was the
where he
secret
goes.
third option all along.
Brad was trying to guess the list, and he did not. He was wrong.
My first guess was sitting on a shelf at home.
I mean, you're not too far removed from like what he's going for.
That's true.
Well, the thing is, like, yeah, and that's the thing is, like, I've seen a lot of really beautiful Cyclops models, painted and stuff, like models painted. People have put like the optic beam on them and stuff. Like, I mean,
Oh
there's
yeah,
a
the
lot
ones
of
with the beams
really,
look good. Yeah.
yeah, there's a lot of really cool stuff that people have done. So like, you want to put them like in your little bin to take to the table. You just never want to put them on the table.
Brad, on his photo, what do you think he needs those pouches for? On his belt.
So the pouches were there
God,
for
you
cool
don't think he knows
factor.
exactly what's in his pouches?
The pouches are there because they looked cool when Jim Lee drew them.
It's probably condoms.
But they
it should be.
No,
really
it's not.
If it's it's definitely not.
Yeah, you're
But
right.
it
Yeah, you're
should
right.
fucking be.
Yeah.
But they spent like time in the 90s, like he would like pull shit out of them every once in a while. Like
Is it because
they
Batman's way
used them.
cooler?
I don't think Batman's cool. Batman's cool, but I bought miniatures for the Batman mini game, and the only Batman I bought was Thomas Wayne. So Batman's not that cool.
I mean, he's pretty cool, but there's a lot more cooler things in Batman.
Yeah. Batman's cool because he has a cool rogues gallery.
He has arguably the best rogues gallery.
It's hard to top it.
Yeah, and I'm actually thinking about it now. I'm not sure it's even close.
No.
Spider-Man might be close.
Spider-Man is
the
cool.
closest.
Spider-Man might be close, but I still
Batman
don't think
has
he's
to-
there. But like, because like
we are
the
off
Spider-Man, the
We
Spider-Man
are
falls
off
off
topic.
super hard.
All right, Fred. Why don't
Sorry.
you're good. Why don't you take us through your non sequitur to wrap us up?
Okay, so I don't know a whole lot about Scott Summers, unfortunately. I wasn't a big comic book head, and I didn't really consume a whole lot of X-Men content. So I didn't have a whole lot to draw off of to make me understand what to do here. So I'm just gonna suggest a movie that I saw this week that I thought was heckin' great. And that movie is called Barbarian.
Oh,
Uh,
okay, yeah.
it is a horror movie that came out just recently, directed by Zach Krieger, and it stars Bill Skarsgård, Georgina Campbell, and Justin Long. And it is a back to an old-fashioned horror where it's just heckin' scary. This movie uses darkness better than any movie I've seen in a long time, and it is just great. And the less you know about the movie going into it, the better. So I'm not going to give you a whole lot of information, but I am going to say that it is not what it appears to be on the face.
This will be the first in a long time of your recommendations that I will have zero part of.
You're not into it. You're not into the horror.
I do
This
not
is
do horror
a
stuff.
capital H horror movie.
Yeah.
Like it is not elevated horror, which I also love, but this is like an older school. You are going to be afraid if I'll tell you this anecdote. When I walked out of the movie theater with Monica, we got we refilled our drinks, and she went to the restroom, and I was by myself at the drink kiosk, and the other machine, some ice fell out of it and made a noise, and I just about jumped out of my skin.
That's
And I'll tell you, this movie. Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. No, you go ahead. I was gonna let you finish up.
This movie's great. You should see it if you like horror movies. If you want to go and get spooked by a movie, this is one to watch. Go do it. Go watch it.
It's like she's gonna go stay at like an Airbnb or something like that, right? Isn't that what it's like?
Yeah. So it starts with her going to an Airbnb, and the Airbnb company double booked the the location. There was someone already staying there when she goes.
Okay.
The only thing I know about the movie is that Barbarian is an anagram of Airbnb.
Well, there's that is true, and there is another connection with that name also that I am there. There are actually several. The name is perfect for the movie.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you for that, Fred. With that, wraps up a very long podcast this week.
Yeah.
I think we're like
Whoops.
almost like an hour and a half, 2 hours, something like that. But thank you guys for joining us. If you have a character recommendation that you would like us to talk about next week, please drop a comment. If not, I guess we will unfortunately have to do Human Torch. So
Will the Human Torch get a better rating
then Cyclops, I mean, it's probably
I would
yes.
hope so.
Probably.
Oh
But-
God, if Fred's on the fence, we might have a chance.
Yeah. That. Thank you guys so much for listening, and we'll talk to you next week.